When I was younger, I read too much toxic chicken soup advice. There were always people telling me that women shouldn't get married, that men are unreliable, and that I should be independent and strong, buying my own house and car. So after graduating from college, I always put my career first and didn't really make an effort to date anyone. Now it's been 10 years since I started working. Well, I've bought a car and have some savings, but I haven't bought a house because I've never settled down, so I don't know where I should buy one. Looking back now, I realize I was really hurt by all that toxic positivity. I'm 34, have worked for 10 years, and while others have families, kids, houses, and cars, I'm still drifting alone in another city, coming home from work every day to an empty place. What's the point of making so much money if there's not even anyone to talk to? So, I recommend that everyone stop reading those toxic articles that encourage women to stay single. We should do the right things at the right age. When it's time to get married, we should get married instead of blindly pursuing independence and autonomy at the expense of marriage.
Older single women are now being called old cuckoos. It's infuriating. And lately, they say that a whole bunch of us, so-called old cuckoos, are flooding into matchmaking markets everywhere. They say that as long as you're a man and you're willing to accept women over 30, even if you don't offer a bride price, you can get married instantly now. They say that we old cuckoos are lining up, just waiting for you men to come and do us a favor or pay off some debt. Is that really what people are saying now? Like, don't even bother with the bride price. Just get married first for good luck. And they even say that as long as you're willing to help us old companions pay off our debts, we'll guarantee to spend the rest of our lives with you in peace. Everyone's out there advising not to marry older single women, not to marry women with kids from previous relationships, not to marry women with younger brothers who are already adults. They say these are all high-risk groups. What did we do wrong exactly?
Maybe I really won't be able to get married because I'm already 32 this year. In another 8 years, I'll be almost 40. If I'm still not married by the time I'm 35, I might just give up and completely surrender to reality. It's already June now. There are only a few months left until the new year. I originally promised myself that this year I would definitely find someone and get married. It's probably hopeless now. I can really feel more and more that after women turn 30, it's truly hard to find a partner. Because nowadays, men all prefer girls in their 20s. So in the end, I've lost to age. At my age, I really don't have the right to be picky anymore. Even if I offered a car, a house, and a dowry, and even paid someone to marry me, no one would want me just like an old rotten cabbage left on the ground. No one picks it up, no one wants it. Left to rot on its own. My mindset now is that I'm already prepared to grow old alone. If in the end, no one really wants me, I plan to just live by myself, not get married, not have children. In a few years, when I'm a bit older, I might choose to find a companion, just someone to share life with. We wouldn't have to get married or register it officially just so that when we're old, we can support and look after each other. I'm even open to someone who's divorced and has kids. At worst, I'll just end up being a stepmom to someone else's kid. Honestly, I don't even care about love or feelings anymore. The main goal is just to have someone to share life with in the future. Now I really see things for what they are. It's hard to find a live-in son-in-law, and being with someone divorced with kids is actually more cost-effective.
These past couple of days, I had a female guest here. I call her a female pervert. Honestly, she's really quite lustful. So she's an unmarried woman, and she's 31 years old. Is one. I'm not really sure what her job is, but she's definitely a pretty lustful woman. I used to think that men were the lustful ones, but it turns out women can be even more so. I used to think that men's lust was on the surface, while women's was hidden inside. But now I realize that women can be open about it too. When she came to me, she had just one request. She said, "Brother Jia, you seem very sincere." She said, "I know that as a matchmaker, only you can check on that aspect." She told me she had only one requirement. I don't require the male guest to be very tall, nor do I require him to be very handsome. I also don't care if the male guest is rich, as long as he can support himself. I'm financially independent. I can take care of myself. As for having children, as long as the two of us can come to an agreement, that's fine. This requirement is very simple. At the time, I thought, wow, this is pretty straightforward, and her only requirement was just this. That was the one requirement. I muted myself, so I didn't dare to say it out loud. Otherwise, it would get restricted. This was the only requirement. At the time, I talked to him on the phone and said I thought he was joking. I said, "Girl, if you do it like this, maybe the price won't be sustainable." That's what I said. But since you don't have any other requirements, I'll go check things out for you, right? And do some work. Because this aspect really is important for marriage, isn't it? But if you keep this up, even if you meet 10 people, you still won't find someone. Even if you meet 100, it still won't work out. I was saying, will I get a sty in my eye or not? So today, I told my matchmaker, matchmaker is a woman who's pregnant. I said to her, who should I assign this female guest to? Sometimes, when I'm busy, I let them handle the initial matching work, because I don't have that much time to do all the matching myself. Only after they've already felt there's a connection do I step in to help evaluate what the guy is like. If I think it won't work, I'll reject the match on their behalf. If, after a comprehensive evaluation, we all feel that the guy is suitable as family background and all other aspects are fine in, I'll also provide a list outlining the guy's strengths and weaknesses so the woman can make her own choice. That's my approach. So I asked my female matchmakers about this and they said, Jiage, in your situation, I wouldn't even know what to do. She said, there's no way I could just go up to those male guests as a woman and ask, hey, how about that? Is it true? Then one of the female matchmakers said, can you really tell just by looking? And then my other matchmaker said, how do you tell? She said, look at the nose. If the nose is big, that's the one. Oh, I said, that's just nonsense. I know people used to use that as a reference, but you can't judge someone's marriage prospects just by looking at their facial features, right? What if it's not accurate? What then? So we've never actually done any research on this. I personally think it's unreliable. For example, I have a small nose, right? Isn't that so? But the outcome wouldn't necessarily be like that. Actually, I think there's a high chance that this girl will be persuaded by me to change her minda. Very high chance. Yeah. I really don't know what to do about it either. So I jokingly call her a female rascal.
Why not? Why not look for older women? Because older women are not good to us. Older women always hope that men will be blind enough to like them. Based on past experience, men who like older women always end up unlucky. There has never been a high-quality leftover woman in this world. We work hard and make money to find a young woman, not to find an older woman. If we never got to enjoy a woman's youth, there's no need for us to take care of her in her old age. If she gave her most precious youth to other men, then there's no reason for us to pay the price for other men. And besides, right, if she's had many relationships, it will make us feel, even when we're in bed, as if there are other men right there beside us.
Honestly, I've never seen such a female guest. She wasted an entire week of my time. I can't help but laugh. I'm so pissed off that I actually laughed. This divorced woman from Jiangxi found me through Douyin. I asked her what kind of person she was looking for. She said she wanted someone with good financial conditions. I told her I happen to know someone like a fetish family owns a clothing factory, so by all accounts, the situation is pretty good, right? So after a week of getting to know each other, it was time to talk about serious matters, like setting a date to discuss things. Of course, it would be about the bride price, the 3 gold items, the dowry, and so on. So I said, let me check with the girl first. And this girl said she wanted 368, 0 yuan. 368. 0 yuan. I've actually dealt with people from Jiangxi before, but they were all married buddies. Then this young lady said, for our first marriages, the bride price is usually 500,000 to 600,000. I said, that's definitely not going to work. It's way too high. Over here in Shenzhen, we just can't afford that. Even for a first marriage here, it's only 80,000, 82,000, or at most 86,800. So I said, how about this? Why don't you try negotiating for 128, 0 yuan, see if that's acceptable? She was still pretty reluctant, you know. So I explained the pros and cons to her, and she finally said, all right, that's fine, as long as I can save face. This guy really isn't bad at all. Then she took the initiative and said, let's just make it 168, 0 yuan. It sounds better, and it's not a big difference. I said, sure, isn't that great? Then she said they wanted the car as compensation to make up the value, and that way they could drive it back to Jiangxi and have some face. I said, all right, how about we just buy a car worth a little over 100 0 yuan? Let's get a new one, right? Personally, I think we're just ordinary people, not some wealthy family. So a car in the 100 0 yuan range is good enough for getting around. She said, no, a car worth just over 100 0 yuan, how could anyone drive that? What kind of brand only costs that much? Is it domestic? Honestly, when he said domestic, I really wanted to punch him. Then I asked, so what kind of car do you want? How much should it cost? To be honest, at that point, I was still managing to stay rational as I spoke. She said he wanted a car worth 520 0 yuan, AUDI Q7. I asked, why does it have to be 520? 0. She said, because I love you. I said, then why not 13.14 million? Why not ask for a Rolls Royce? I told him, this is basically robbery. Just because you're matchmaking with me, it suddenly becomes legal. Blind dates are legal now? Let me teach you our trick to get rich quick. For people like this, please don't come to me in the future. Thank you.
Is it really so miserable to never get married in your whole life? I'm 34 this year and have been single for over 2 years. In this day and age, men aren't lacking in affection and women aren't lacking in money. None of us are short on entertainment or culture. Naturally, the appeal of marriage for us has dropped significantly. It's just that. We're just eager to know how those who don't get married are doing. Not getting married isn't something to be afraid of, and not having children doesn't necessarily mean you'll end up lonely for the rest of your life. If you're willing, you really can stick to and choose the life you love. If there truly is a price to pay for not getting married, is that price really so high? And can we bear it? Will living alone be too lonely? I thought about it sometimes, yes. But most of the time, I'm grateful that I still have a relatively free life. No responsibilities means no pressure. If loneliness is the price of freedom, then I can accept that. It might sound a bit selfish, but so be it. Life is so short if you're always living in someone else's world. Isn't that a shame? There are still so many things I want to do. I want to see flowers bloom and listen to flowing water. I want to meet some interesting friends and enjoy every day as it comes. As for whether or not I get married, it's no longer that important.